Hi, I'm Lena from My Dying Bride.
And I'm Aaron, and you're watching Rock and Live. It's, I think, a natural evolution from the previous record, For Lies I Sire. There are similar elements on this album to that album. However, we're 3 years on from that album, so our songwriting has become better. The lyrics, I think, are better. The whole process of recording and writing has improved on those 3 years. So I think what you get from the new album is the kind of things you would expect to see from My Dying Bride, but better, because we simply, as we get older, we get better at what we do and a bit more wiser, I think. So, and it's got all the kind of ingredients people expect. There's very, very doomy material, some heavy up-tempo stuff, loads of violin and keyboards, lots of atmospherics. You know, we're quite an atmospheric band, quite theatrical. So, a lot for everybody, I think, and I'm sure the fans are going to love it.
We recorded it, we started recording about spring, summertime this year. We recorded it in Manchester at the Future Works, so we've done the last studio album and the last 2 EPs as well. We really like it there. It's a really great place. We've got a lot of top technology there. It's a fantastic place to record. Our sound engineer Mags, he works there as well, so it's an obvious place for us to choose.
She done for sure, but his request was that she left.
I write all the lyrics, and they cover a wide range of topics. There's stuff on religion and passion, love and loss. We don't normally sing about traditional heavy metal subjects. We kind of look for something a bit more intelligent, a bit more in-depth, something that might provoke people's emotions on a higher level. And I think people appreciate that. People, if you want to read about demons and Satan, you know, there's loads of bands doing that stuff. If you want something a bit more along the sort of literature road, then choose My Dying Bride, because it's not easy sometimes to get through the lyrics, because I like a lot of poetry, so the lyrics can be taxing, I think, on the reader from time to time. But there's nothing wrong with that. It's educational, I guess, to a certain degree. But yeah, it's again the same sort of topics we've discussed in the past. So again, if My Dying Bride fans loved what we've done previously, in theory, they should love what we've just done now.
The sea gave up his daughter on the moon. So
I think it's a good choice, because that song contains all the elements of My Dying Bride. Some of the songs are very slow, and if we had released a very slow song as a sample, people would assume the whole album was very slow. So it wouldn't represent the album very well. Kneel Till Doomsday has a good variety of tempo changes, a little bit of everything, so people know, okay, My Dying Bride are covering doom, death, gothic, so there's a bit for everybody there. It has a large amount of variety in it, plenty of tempo changes, and I think it represents the album very well.
she looked as my arms lived at noon.
think so. Yeah, it's definitely different to the other studio albums, but it's kind of the way it's been recorded and the general sound is much like the earlier stuff. It's quite raw, rough, almost like a live sound with how it's been recorded with the valve amp. So it's very natural. So there's feedback and you hear the squeaks. It's quite energetic like that. It is different to the other records though, in that it's like a new style of writing, but done in an old kind of way. So there's a good mix there. I think a lot of fans, both new and old, are going to really appreciate this album.
The fate on you and the will hung on his lonely choice. I cannot, but I would love to bury the dead again.
Yeah, it has to be. I think any band who has an interesting environment is going to be influenced by where they live. We live in the north of England. It's a bit grim sometimes, the weather's not great, but it's a beautiful place if you have time to find the beauty. There's hills and lakes and rivers and forests, and it's wonderful, and that's where I draw inspiration for the lyrics. And of course, lyrically, we have a great history of old poets, so it's kind of a classical place where we live, and I like that. And when I write the lyrics, I write them in a kind of 17th, 18th century style, which gives them a little bit of a flair, and takes the listener away from the 9-to-5 day-to-day that they live in and just transports them somewhere magical. Just for an hour of their life they can go somewhere away from the terrible rat race of humanity and enjoy something a little bit more interesting, I think. So yeah, where we live has definitely influenced the words and the style and the feel of the music.
Reward and punishment on the walls of the city fair.
We never imagined it, of course, when we first formed the band all those years ago. We were just young guys who wanted to make interesting music, and we hoped we might be able to do a couple of gigs, and we hoped and we prayed we would get a little piece of vinyl with our name on it, and we've achieved those things many times over, and it's just been wonderful. And we're surprised as well because we write a very underground style of music. It's not doom, it's not death, it's not gothic, but it's a combination of those genres, which was quite a gamble in the early days. The death metal scene was huge back then when we formed, so we took a gamble, but I think it paid off. And so it looks like our combination of genres has worked for us, because we're still here after 23 years. And also part of the reason for that is our record label, Peaceful, have given us complete artistic freedom. They have never tried to tell us what to do. We can do anything for this record label. They trust us to do things properly and professionally. But if you're given complete freedom, that's something marvellous and something to enjoy. And if you're enjoying something, just keep doing it. So we'll probably be doing it for another 10 years at least, I think.
In December, starting on the 7th of December, I think, we've got a European tour. So we're starting in London, and then in France, Italy, Germany, Holland, and some other countries there along the way. It's going to be to promote a map of all our failures, and there will be some tracks played live off the album. Hoping to aim for about 3, I think. For these tours, because it's specifically a My Dying Bride concert, you'll find a good mixture of songs, like right from the early days, the mid-period, right up to right now, this new album. So there'll be something there for everybody.
Probably Celtic Frost for me. They've been going even longer than we have, but inspirational songwriters and great artists. I don't think they currently exist, but the guys are still around. But it would be good if they got back together. I'd like to work with them.
Yeah, I'd say the same as well. That's a good choice. Just purely to see Tom G live, Triptych as well. It'd be cool to share the stage with them.
And it is within your comfort I show the mirror. Empty or rich desire lifts us from your furnace face. The face that
Every time we've played in Paris, the fans have been crazy. It's better than we expected. The reception is it's marvellous, and we appreciate that warmly every time, and we hope that we can give back some warmth with a great show. Again, what Lena said, some old stuff, some new stuff, and even meet the fans before and after the show as well, because it's quite important to meet people who are buying your music, and just say hello and shake their hands and take some photos. It's great.
Yeah, probably one of my favourite gigs of my day ride was at the Bataclan a few years ago, and the crowd was just absolutely mental. I've never seen anything like it, so we really love our fans here in France.